Hi everyone. While off stream, I decided to do some stuff related to the problem that I had earlier when I had to converge the types to one. You can remember that I faced this issue where I was using either for both to evaluate the expression for both branches, for both variants of either. There was a problem that output is a generic type. This has the consequence that this type is these types, though very similar, are not actually the same. In one branch it is a function item, and in another branch it is a closure. So I could not use for both cases because both converges. So I asked people in the chat about it, and I was offered a solution where I would have a common code with generics, and I'll answer it to him. I'll said that I looked at it. It is that it is not ergonomic. However, the fix is simple. It is. What do we do without it? Let me do this. I just have to remove the backticks because they are quite ugly. They mess up the formatting. I'll do it like this. It is nothing but fine. And I'll do it like this and like this. Can I do this? Please. I don't want that. Please. Oh, fine. Good enough. Wait. I think I copied it out, which is bad. I don't want it. So, okay, let me see. I waste my time. I waste my time here. Okay, I'll do it this way and remove the backticks here because they're quite ugly. I mean, I cannot keep the backticks here. Fortunately, it is quite sad because it don't work like this. Fine. So now that I've implemented this, what I did, I forked either. I forked the either crate, not the crate, but the repository of either crate. That's what I did, and now I'm planning to make a commit, the cargo format, all the usual things. Where is it? CLS, cargo format, cargo clippy. Just cargo clippy. I don't want to have any problems. Like target test, I implemented only this thing, and I tested this thing. Like you can see that I tested it, so it was alright. Now what I need to do is it adds its status, it commit added either map off. That's what I need. Push origin. And now it goes here, and I will contribute and commit on pull request. I guess this both changes here, so that it is clear what it does, and also an additional line to the block of either for both. I'm not sure that I need to, I'm not sure that I need to do this, but fine. So, and with this change, I'll be able to, go back to my crate, and not to the crate, but to my version, to my fork of the repository. Here I'm planning to use the fork instead of the elements. Let me check whether there is no messages here. It is fine. Well, using approach with either is a bit annoying to me. I dislike the fact that we branch here that often. It is something that makes sense from the standpoint of ease of maintenance, because then we can make sense of what is going on. But from the point of view of code generation, this is quite bad, because we often we will constantly branch out on every case. So we branch on our write function, then we branch on options, then we branch out on this, and then we branch out on that, and just constant branching, which is a bad thing from this point of view of performance. But I just hope that the optimizers takes care of this. I am a bit, I would say, pessimistic about whether it's possible, but it is fine enough, I guess. I don't want to go into details and try to figure out when does it make sense to branch out and when it doesn't. It is not the best. It would be not the best use of my energy, both mental energy and my time as well. So now I have to change from either to this equals to it just makes sure like it adds a little bit of safety for people who use it that I don't break it accidentally. It makes a lot of sense. Now, what do we do here? So now it has to recompile either because I overwrote the dependency, but now it's fine because at least I can use the either not both. Okay, let me actually also share it with people. Either to meet ahead of. Oh, never mind. That's not what I want to do. I want to go to RAM, do the original, do the original thing where I would be able to include her. Should I? I think I should mention her. Move it her to stone. Ready? For their review. Ready for the review. Just speed up all of them. Now, what we do is it has to write some. It has to run some code for a while, and now it is either. I think it's fine to not branch on these. It just makes a lot of sense to not branch on these. And then what we need to do is now I realize that there's a problem here. The problem is that we have either both cases. It includes OK and error variants. So now we have a neither of the results. What I actually need is to so what I actually need to do here at this point is to actually also throw away the results returns. Maybe I wonder whether I can do something like this. What can I try doing? Maybe I should try both. What it would be is essentially converge to maybe try both. So I have a thing where I actually try both. What it would be is so it would return OK or error, where error would be this thing which is the same. Let me see what I can do about it. Actually, before I do this, let me copy the Brew music is too loud. Oh, right. I will decrease the volume. Thank you for letting me know this story, Prava. I started streaming very recently, and for that reason, I just did not have enough. I did not have enough time to really make it really good. I will later review my stream so that I can see how well you can hear me, and thank you for letting me know, Destroyer Prava. Okay, Yes, I do. You are the guy from reality, the Indian guy. Is it right? See, I remember it. It was maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I still remember it. There's scroll text actually explains what I'm doing right now, but it's still. Um, Maybe I can take a little detour to also add try map both, because I want to have a thing where I would also return an error. So um, let me go back to either. So let's also do try map both. Macro rules. Are you familiar with Rust, Prava? The reason why I even checked the chat in the first place was that I wanted to copy the link and share it with me on my phone so that I could view it on my phone. Okay, and copy. And let me see what I can do here. Yes. Oh, it's the same link, so it should work. Visit site. Macro rules, try map both. Okay. It makes sense to put it here. Macro rules, try map both, and what it does is, of course not. That's not what it. That's not what it does. It should return a thing which is so so it is, we assume that it is a result. That's what we need to do. It is core result, and uh, what we need to do here is to okay, it is core convert identity. What it does, it it ensures that it is a function that just accepts an argument and returns this argument unchanged. But what it does is that it ensures that the argument is of the type that we expect, and I think we need to specify that it is the same type, that it is some result, and much. So we match on this. Well, maybe it does. Actually, I don't want to make it too complicated, so I'll make it so I'll make it okay, and if it is okay value, then we just return it as such. So it is create either left of okay or with an okay. So that's how we do it. Otherwise, it will be create either right with pattern and we match on the result, and if it is okay, then it goes okay, and if it is an error, then we just return an error of this type, and that's how we do this. So in case of okay, we just return the value, that is okay, and otherwise it's an error. And I believe that must do what I really want to do. So elevate the provide expression for both and returning an returning a result where with the where the okay where the okay variant of k variant variant is an either with results and variant is the airtight comma and yeah it makes a lot of sense. Or I think it's just like this part is just pointless. It is already apparent what it does. Let me see what. Let me see the chat. I don't know much about Rust. Okay, and that's okay that you do not know much about Rust. And I do know that there is a huge delay in the chat. I apologize. So what it so Rust is the scroll thing explains what it does, but essentially what I'm writing right now is a thing. So a macro is a thing that accepts in macros in Rust have common different types, but I write a thing called macro rules or macro by example. Macro by example is a thing that accepts a shaped input, which is basically a sequence of tokens that is broken down into things that are called designators. So these things are called designators, and it tries to match these things and interact with them using the way we need to. Macro rules are very simple macros that allow us to avoid repetition of code by using this by repeating the syntax uh, in multiple places. And in this case, I do this in order to hide this rather big branch of code behind a simple macro. Because you can notice that pattern is repeated here, result is repeated here, like this pattern here is repeated, and I would like to be able to just generate the code as it. I would like to write the code using macros instead of repeating myself, and that's what it does. So it accepts Rust macro syntax. Accepts Rust syntax and produces another syntax as a result. So it is a function from syntax to syntax. Yes. Welcome, Takatoyu, your girl. Yogiri, Takato Yogiri, Yogiri. Yes, Rust is an amazing language. I allow it a lot for that, because it allows me to tackle complex problems in a very simple way. It is not always straightforward because it exposes lots of details and complexity, but at the same time, if you need to solve difficult problems that involve lots of nuance, it is probably the best tool that exists today. I don't know a better programming language that allows you to tackle the complexity at this level. Maybe Zig. Zig is another alternative that is also good, that allows you to do incredibly cool things with its compile time evaluation. In that regard, it is even more. If we can learn Rust and become comfortable, then Rust is fun. Yes, absolutely. Rust is a lot of fun, very powerful, extremely powerful, but also has a certain learning curve because, once again, it exposes the complexities of the software. Yes, Rust is an amazing language. 10 out of 10. Maybe not 9 out of 10. There are things where I wish it were better, but like comparing to the alternatives, it is amazing. like just mind-blowing. So what and then it is the compile time is a problem, but you don't always have to. Well, compile time has several parts to it. Compile time in Rust is actually not that bad, given how much stuff gets created when we write something. Oh, the cool thing about Rust is that it produces, it is extremely expressive, and things like try map both, it creates lots of code that otherwise, unfortunately, if we really wanted to do it this way, we would have to write anyway. And essentially, what it happens is just it reduces the code. It produces lots of code, but the actual code that we see is twice as small. So what happens is that Rust, due to its expressiveness, has a thing where it produces an incredible amount of code for what we write, and this code is not apparent. For example, serialize and deserialize. It is just one little thing that you put on a struct, and suddenly you have serialization and deserialization, and you can essentially interact with other various code formats: JSON, TOML, XXX, URL form encoded. If you can run Rust program, then you can be 100% be sure that code is correct. No, it is not. It is not, but it is pretty close to it. Very. The way it works is that you have lots of type safety. Type safety promotes correctness, and Rust has a thing called, and Rust provides very high level of memory safety. I would say close to 99.9%. Memory safety means that there will be no invalid memory accesses that actually are incredibly dangerous. For that reason, there is a rule of two, or rule of which is rule of two Google rule of two, and C++. No, this is not I'm not talking about rule of three or rule of five, which is related to constructors. Rule of two and safety not the one. Basically, the rule of two is that you have two of things have to be true about allowing Chromium. So here is the rule of two us and Chromium docs. So with Rust, your program has a higher chance to be correct. Incredibly higher chance. Incredibly higher chance. Yes, it is like as good as it can be in validation because of type safety and memory safety. And just good language design and ability to provide abstractions that allow us to reason about code that is complicated. It allows us to use abstractions that allow us to write code that is maintainable and easy. C++ is neither memory safe, but it provides abstractions which can be fine. Like if you use safe abstractions and use them properly, then it is also relatively hard to make mistakes there. But like there are so many problems with it, so many things that are not obvious, and so many ways to step on the rake, if you will, that C++ is just not a thing. So the rule of two. When you write code to parse, evaluate, or otherwise handle untrustworthy input from the internet, which is almost everything we do in a web browser, we like to follow a simple rule to make sure it's safe enough to do so. The rule of two is pick no more than two of untrustworthy inputs, unsafe implementation language, and high privilege. So this rule of two, us in Chromium, describes the principle that and borrow checker and other Rust unique features. Yes, borrow checker allows us ensure the memory safety. And another quite important property of Rust that gets overlooked, which is absence of aliasing for modification. It does not exactly uphold strictly because we do have things which are called interiorly mutable types, or mutably types, or just interior mutability. A type has interior mutability if its internal state can be changed through a shared reference to it. It is aliased, and it is a problem when we do so, because if we have asynchronous execution and interior mutability, it means that we also have to introduce some sort of synchronization mechanism in order to ensure correct access and safe access to the internal state and modification in order to avoid data races. And it is a huge problem. Interior mutability is a huge problem. But the issue with the reason why interior mutability is needed in Rust is that, first of all, we need to interact with the other code that is not interiorly mutable, that is interiorly mutable. And the second thing is that it is actually quite hard to deal with our parallel code, which is not interiorly mutable. There are ways to do so using message passing, but they are complicated, incredibly complicated. I do not have enough knowledge. I really want to learn structured concurrency in order so that I can actually reason about it and write code that is entirely immutable. Any use case for Rust, only JS is more than enough. But learning Rust was fun, but since I do work with JS, so I don't find any use case for Rust right now. But I'm waiting for Bevy 1.0. I will learn game dev with Rust, Bevy game engine. Yes, Bevy is nice. If you know, like one cool use case for JavaScript, like with Rust, is that you can use Rust. Like one cool thing about JavaScript is that you can use JavaScript both on the backend and the front end. But one of the problems with JavaScript is that JavaScript is kind of slow. And you can actually reuse code written in Rust both on the backend and the front end, and you can actually replace pieces of code on the front end with pieces of code written in Rust. And for example, here I am trying to I have a thing that embeds Python, and embedding Python usually requires a compiled programming language. There is Pyodide, but Pyodide has an issue that it is incredibly large, and I don't need the whole Pyodide. I actually need to have a subset of Pyodide. I need Python without its standard libraries, without standard modules, because standard modules, well, I can add standard modules later, but I don't want to expose the functionality from the standard modules that can actually cause some problems for me on the back end. So for that reason, I just need to ensure that I do not expose too much. Macro rules. I'll get back to try my both and the same type, and now I need to do syntax. It literally is the same thing. Not both, the same type. And here, unlike both, the macro returns the result where the equivalent and the results. Example. Trying out both. It is not convincing use. It is not a convincing example. I kind of disliked it. I kind of dislike it. Oh, right. Also, I need to export macro export here. Macro export, so that it is available outside. And then what we do is, what is this project you're working on? The scroll text describes it. I will try to copy the message. So marky here. Um, Here. Right now, I'm struggling with buffering. I will show it again. Maybe I can. Let's see. And GitHub plus the beam, or actually GitHub, and I'll create a gist, new gist. And the extension is marky marky.html. Create a public gist. Create public gist. Fine. And I'll send the link. Yes. So right now I'm struggling with buffering. There is a thing that describes it. The scroll text explains it. So at this point I need to do. All right, I want to fix. Like I need to improve either. I need to add here that like while I solve problems, I also like encounter things that I need to do and improve in other libraries, because I could just like kind of make it so that I can hard code it, but I don't want to hard code it, and I want it to be nice, and it is a good thing as well. I work with either right now because I use either right now because of complex problems. I should probably explain it, so I'll add it. More precise around buffering. I'm gonna make sure about in Rust. More specific. I and in the code I have an instance of either type, either type, which is a sum type with two variants, left and right. It's an enum. It's a tagged enum that can hold either a value type and a type B. In my case, the left is a function, and the right, the left and the right is a closure. With state. They have naturally they have different underlying binary representations, binary representations, and the alternative to using the would be to use box at a fan da 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 da. I forgot how it's like lay and gay. However, such approach, which is called boxing, such approach, which is called boxing, is slow. Is slow, and in dispatch, in dispatch Rust, because eventually it has to be called slow Google enum dispatch versus dynamic dispatch. Essentially, enum dispatch is not a static dispatch, but dynamic trade object dispatch versus vtable dispatch. I would call this vtable dispatch or dynamic trade object dispatch. It is all this dynamic trade object dispatch, dynamic trade object dispatch, or virtual dispatch. That's how we can so look up since I need to do many transformations on the either type. Since I need to do many transformations, I've encountered a limiting factor. I've encountered problems with for mapping over the either type. The type information. There was and there is either for both macro, but it does not. But it converts this macro, but it converges which evaluates an expression for both variants of the either type. Enough, but it's not enough. My case. The issue is that it also converges the result to one type, which is not what I need. I have a generic. I actually return. I cannot without a performance penalty. Converge their performance or maintainability penalty converge the results to one type, because the two branches should actually turn map to different types, and that's why I need to return the either type from the mapping expression. However, there is no. However, either does not. Either does either at the moment of writing, did not provide and return the either type and mapping macro. It is a macro. The mapping macro myself. Additionally, since I too many to also deal with results a lot, I also had to implement for implement it either try map both, which returns a result where the OK variant is the either type. So there is quite a lot that has to be done, and explaining it all is just quite complicated. As you can notice, it is just like a lot of stuff that has to be done. And now try both, doc tests. And let me see. Have fun. I'll try. Without alloc. Okay. To string without alloc. Without alloc, and it is self, and it is a result of and pipe. Let's say that we have this type of error. Okay, and then the result is string or error, self error, yes, and they are not identical, but fine. I cannot come up with a. Can I come up with a simple example that makes sense? I just need to do something that returns okay for one thing or and returns the other. What can I do? Fine, I'll just like some fallible function, some fallible. Fine. I hate it. Like I keep it this way because I really just need to ensure that it works, and I just I don't want to get bogged into the details. Bogged in the details. And let me check. Git status. Git add. No, cargo format. Cargo format. Cargo clipping. Cargo clipping. Let me see. Got a git add. Git commit. Try my path. Try my path. Git push origin. Either try my path. Implementation implementation of. Why did you use before every line of code? Oh, this is a code command for rustdoc. Rustdoc, Rust, Rust doc comments. Comments. Documents are very useful for big projects that require documentation. Essentially, what it. I apologize. I have some problems. So here's the link that I had that I sent you, and what it does, it allows us to have we have a website called docs.rs, and the docs.rs is a thing where like when you publish a package, it gets automatically generated. The documentation for the crate gets automatically generated, and it allows us to have a common place where we. Yes, I did have. No, yes, I got another problem. It just for a second. I don't know what happened. And what it does, it allows us to have various things where we can have automatically generated documentation. And for example, we can look at scene Rust. Scene Rust, docs.rs, you can see that it is also docs.rs, and we can have it like this, have some stuff here, like and all this is generated from the code, and you can see that if we look around, like available on create feature parsing only. So just like C++, Rust supports conditional compilation, and if you want to cut down on compilation time, we can enable only the features that we need and get exactly what we need. And it's just a good thing. We can just look at the stuff, see what it does, see examples, probably even run them, copy examples. Sometimes they can be runnable if you enable the right feature for Rust doc. So quite a useful thing. It generates this kind of documentation. So if I try to do cargo doc, open nodeapps, I'm not sure. I think it won't compile right now because I have problem because it does not compile, because because it has problems, but I might be able to see something. Oh, it actually did compile. Wait, what? For some reason it decided to open it in text instead of the browser. So, whatever. And you can see that there is Rust run code, and if I added some documentation to run code, it would actually appear here. So run code, and it just like runs code. Save, target doc open. Of course, it tries to compile. And let's see another time. Probably it will also again open in this thing. Rather, it will probably also try to. Of course, yes, it opens the wrong thing. Fine. For some reason, HTML now opens in text for me because I messed up something there. But you can see that it added this line, and if I click here, I can add more stuff here, provide an example. And by having examples, you can make the code more readable and testable. And as you can notice, it has integration with various IDEs because there are things called doc test. You can actually run, you can have tests here, like you can have code that is supposed to work one way or another, and you can ensure that the code example that you provide actually is runnable and correct, and it is what will actually work. So a really useful thing. It is just like JSDoc, but better, and with a unified infrastructure to support big scale development and code reuse and documentation availability. Incredibly good thing. You're welcome. Okay, and now let me see. I'll also send it in the chat about the rule of two because it's probably a good thing to send in the chat. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, bum. Just something to read later. And implementation of mapboth, implementation, and implementation of implementation. Let me see. Okay. Mapboth, implementation of try mapboth. Okay, and I would like to do this and try mapboth. Try mapboth, which is here, and I'd like to copy that thing over here. Just saw that it is immediately obvious, and he didn't have to click here. Like, postscriptum. If you have an idea for a simple, and meaningful example for try mapboth, if you have an idea, it will be very welcome. Okay, update comment. The existing markers name like map either method, although that makes mapping function is similar to the exist for both, where both are justified because it's single for the both to find them, so we can change names. So please do update the existing use to map both and remove map either. Okay, awesome. I'm not sure about your orientation because it's limited to result instead of generic try, whereas you can probably use whereas you can probably just use math inside of many of generic try, whereas you can probably just try to make try. Is it stable now? Try Rust. Try trade Rust. Is it stable now? is stable. Given that is unstable, given that this thread is unstable, I'm less sure about your animation because it's limited to result instead of generic try, whereas you can probably just use them both within it inside of this result in many cases, right? And it is a good idea. And, and it is a great idea, and it is an amazing 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 idea. Okay, I have to. So I'll probably it only in the evening. Only evening. Still, thank you a lot. Still, thank you a lot for the feedback. Still, thank you a lot for the feedback. And as you could already guess, since I have to start working in 3 minutes, I have to pause the stream and take a small break. Thanks everyone who came to my stream. Thanks to everyone who supported me. Just said hi. Have a good one, guys.